Have you been reading my articles about Guarma?
Yes.
I really enjoyed writing those. It's a nice change of pace from what I was dealing with before I took my break.
Mm. I always suspected there were peaches because the uh, grocer mentioned something about purchasing them, but I could never find them, so I'm grateful.
I'm glad. I have, to truth be told, I've gotten 2 letters about the peaches so far. One thanking me for notifying people where they were at, and another one telling me how dare I tell people where they're at.
I see.
But the thing is, though, is that currently you can't use them. Like the brown betties, the peach cobbler, pretty much. You still have to use canned peaches,
Mm.
and the peaches
That's
that
a
you pick,
shame.
yep, and the peaches that you pick, even though they're fresh, you can't can them. You can't use them in any other recipes at the moment,
Hmm.
which is unfortunate.
Indeed.
Yeah, next week I'm gonna cover the banana fields. Oh, field, I should say.
That one I do know where it is. And whenever I mention I know where it is, everyone goes, "There's bananas?"
It's like, oh, who was I? I don't remember who it was, but I was like, yeah, there's bananas, and they were like, bananas, and I was like, yeah, they're yellow and they're curved like a moon, and they were like, oh, those are oh, how'd they pronounce it? They said, oh, those are bananas,
I see.
and I was like, bananas? I was like, yeah, they're bananas. I was like, all right. I was in when I was working for the Pinkertons, I went down to the Caribbean, and they took bananas and they would like mash them up a bit, add some sugar, and then they put them inside of a pastry and fry them.
Oh, that
They
sounds
call,
amazing.
yeah, they called them. It's similar to what we've done here with like apple puffs. So I guess they'd be like banana puffs. Oh, it was like heaven. That strong coffee that they brew down there. A lot of happiness in this world comes from baked goods. And then the last article that I'll put out is about the sugarcane fields. We'll say this, at night it is definitely easier to pick out a camp from among the foliage.
This is true.
Yeah, let's see if this camp here is more or less unoccupied. Yeah, I'll go down and check. No one will shoot a reporter. Come on down.
Someone's struggling with wolves. Oh, they're fine. There's 2 of them.
They have found a safe rock. Alright, I'm gonna hitch Cunning. That's a good horse, Cunning. Do you drink, Miss Imogene?
Yes.
Would you like some Black Rose Irish whiskey?
Ooh, yes. Please,
It
thank
is.
you.
I keep several flasks of it on the horse.
Thank you.
Rogine has we've had some longer discussions about the finer points of her whiskey, and as such, on occasion, graces me with a bottle that I then go and get Archie to put into a couple flasks for me.
Oh my goodness. Bless her.
I do love the sound of that. Did you know I grew up in West Texas?
I don't think so. But
It's
sounds
very
like
much like New Austin. Dry, arid, ruggedly beautiful.
is from Texas.
Really?
Yeah, I don't remember where from, but yeah.
I should strike up a conversation with him from one Texican to another.
What's Texas like?
Depends on the part of Texas. It's a lot like New Alexandria in a ways. One side of Texas is like New Austin, and you get over to the other side of Texas, like you go west to east. The west side is very much like New Austin. The east side is very much like Annisburg and Van Horn, like woody hill country. You go north, and you got an area very much like West Elizabeth, very open and uh, open hill, open plains, and then you got a little bit of everything in between. You even got some swamps in there, like Houston. Houston is known as Bayou City because it is literally built on a goddamn swamp.
Oh my goodness.
And it is about as miserable as Saint Denis. Maybe a little bit more because the one thing I'll give to Saint Denis is that it does not have hand-sized mosquitoes. I kid you not. If you hold out your hand and look at your palm, some of those mosquitoes that would land on you, whenever they have all their legs all stretched out, they would stretch from one side of your palm to the other.
No.
Yeah, it is no good. But West Texas is where my family's from. My father owns a good. He owns a moderately sized cattle company out of Alpine, Texas. When I was growing up, it changed its name. It used to be Murphyville, and well, I was big and rambunctious, so he sent me off to a boarding school in Boston. Sent me away with my mother. And then I spotted them both because whenever I got out of that, I went and joined the Pinkertons. And honestly, 10 years that I wish I could get back. Well, it's. You spend a lot of time thinking that you're doing the right for people. And then you learn that there's a darker side to most things. But the sky in West Texas is amazing. You can watch from one horizon to the other. You could see the Milky Way, and
Wow.
it's so big and it's so large. It feels like you could just fall right into into the glorious fire of the far off star field.
That that part sounds nice.
It truly is. Which is why I love New Austin. Can almost get close to it there. And I just can't stand the East. Saint Denis makes me sad.
Specifically?
It's hot, it's humid, it's miserable. There's crime. There's more crime in Saint Denis than there is in New Austin. It's just hiding under different clothing. And I hate it.
Are we looking at something specific?
No, I don't really know. There I go. Relaxed. It's just actually just trying to sit next to the fire.
Yeah, it'll be a minute. Do you like tea? You already have a
Oh.
drink. You already have.
You know what? I love tea, and I love tea to add whiskey to. So,
Alright. Fair enough then.
thank you so much.
Of course.
Oof. This smells good. What kind of tea is this?
It was the tea Thomas Bodra gave me when I asked what type of tea would go well with apple pie.
Ah! Let's see here. It smells a little bit stringent, but also sweet. Has a nice color to it. This may be a Roubois. Either way, it is very good.
Why are you like this? Oh, we lost her.
Ooh, that tea packs a punch. Thank you. And that is smelling really good too.
Should check it. Hell yeah, it is.
So, how did you learn to bake?
Actually, that's a more recent development. One of my friends said she really liked the fried apples, and that just kind of got me started.
Ah, it's kind of a gateway drug.
Apparently. I didn't expect to like it so much. I don't really like cooking, but baking seems more like chemistry than cooking. Cooking is sort of you do what tastes good, but I don't really understand that part. But when the directions say put X amount into Y thing, I can do that. If
Well,
that makes
and
sense.
no, I totally get it, and you're not wrong about it feeling more like chemistry. There's something about like when you cook something, right? Like if you cook like spaghetti, right? It's still the sum. Like you can tell all the different pots to it. So you got your pasta, you got your tomatoes, you got your little pieces of garlic, and you got your flakes of parsley or oregano in there, and it's still separate entities that have just been kind of mixed together. When you bake, something happens where the individual parts have become into a cohesive new unit that is completely different than the original. It's almost like magic.
You get it.
Whew, hot! I love it. I love it. It burns, but it's good. Um. Okay. Oh. There's something about fresh baked apple goodness. Oh, this is making my week.
I meant to do it earlier to welcome you back to state.
Oh, well, truth be told, things have been crazy since I got back to state.
Fair enough. The same on my end, too.
Oh, that is true. Getting kicked by a horse. Was it that horse? Was it your horse? A horse that kicked you?
It was my horse, but it was Watchman, not Jewel.
Okay.
He's apparently ooh, come on, brain. Breton. Apparently Bretons are known for being angry, but
Ooh.
Watchman's been nothing but sweet to me. I think he just got nervous. There weren't wolves near, but he probably smelled them on the wind or something.
Huh. Hmm.
Boston. But you
Yep.
didn't like Boston?
Well, Boston, in a lot of ways, provided me a way to spot both my parents and to make something of myself, but it's very uptight.
Fair enough.
And quite honest, I appreciate a little bit of rough and tumble, and I really don't appreciate being told that I have to wear a dress. And that is proper Boston socialite activities that I was doing. Like if I was protecting a person, I had to blend in. And wearing pants in Boston when you are a female is not quite looked upon well. Oh, goodness. And then it just came to a point where things happened and I was let go from the Pinkertons, and I decided to stop fresh in New Alexandria. Far enough out west where I could feel like I was close to home, but not enough far out west where I was actually home. How about you? Were you born out here, or did you come here?
I came here. I was actually born in Rhode Island. And then, let's see, once I finished school, I moved to Connecticut to apprentice under a clockmaker. Was there for... Jesus, how long was I doing that? 10 years? Oh my
Ooh,
god, I'm old. Um,
I feel that.
and then, I was also let go from, clockmaking over there. So, uh, took my time getting here though. Be another 10 years.
Sometimes it's the journey that matters.
This is true.
I'm guessing that those 10 years were probably a little bit fraught with peril.
Fraught with sadness, loneliness.
10 years alone?
Not completely, but for the most part.
I can understand being, even if not completely alone, I can understand the feeling of loneliness. Um, you think you spend 10 years working with a group of people, you think you know them pretty good. But there's always something not there that should be there that creates loneliness. Even though, I guess what I'm trying to say is you don't have to be alone to be alone. And then sometimes you learn things that just explains that loneliness, and then you kind of look at yourself in the mirror one day and you're like, what the hell decision did I make that brought me here? So when I last saw you, it was at Sunny and Lip's wedding. To have a good bit on your mind then.
I, uh, I, Did I resolve that? Not really. I got kicked by a horse, and then, I was forced to slow down. Which... maybe it did help.
Tell me more about forced to slow down.
Well, I can't do any of the chores, really, at Dead Crow, and it's my wrist, so I can't make any pocket watches or repair them or anything. So the only thing I really could do is just watch over the livestock, and you get a lot of chance to think about things when you're watching livestock.
Oh. Thoughts just circling in the head.
Yeah. So, instead of hopping from one task to the next, trying to avoid myself. I guess I had to confront myself.
That look in the mirror.
Exactly.
I understand that. That was me and Guama. The most recent time, I think, in life, there are several times where we are forced to look at our reflections and wonder. Did you have any revelations of yourself, or you still percolating through that?
Um, it was actually, Jen saying something that really helped the most. Even though I was thinking about it the whole time. Right before I got my wrist broken, I contacted Dr. Scarlet Storm to see if I couldn't become a field medic, because there just aren't a lot of dedicated doctors that stay out that far west.
Mm-hmm.
And since I was feeling that restlessness or something, that's what I chose. Because I can be restless and practical at the same time.
Oh, sure.
But then when I told her, she said something about wanting to help people, and she's not wrong.
Well, what did she say about wanting to help people?
What did she say exactly? What did she say exactly? I don't remember. I don't remember specifically. It was too long ago.
Do you remember what the gist would be?
I think basically with Dead Crow, I'm always making sure everyone has the things they need and feeding them and everything. And a field medic will also fill a need for out west in general, and I think she just meant that maybe that's what I need. Just to help people. A sense of purpose, I guess. That specific purpose.
The need to serve, maybe.
Yeah.
There's such a thing as a greater calling in life, and takes all kinds of people to do all kinds of service. It's funny. Not that you're called to that, because I think we're all called to different levels of service in our lives, and there's at least those of us that aren't trying to rob people. That's a sense of self-service. uh, but it's interesting because I'm a field medic, and I came about it not out of a desire to serve others, but out of a out of a need to keep those around me alive in my past work. And now, though, when I'm called upon, or I happen to be so far around where that skill is needed, I do have that need to not keep those skills to myself. But that's because I have the skills. Where I'm called to service is what I've been finding, is what I've been doing, is just trying to listen and provide a voice to the many different experiences and stories that are going on in the state. And I tell you the truth, in all my life, I have not been as fulfilled as I've been these past 6 months. So there's something really great about pursuing a purpose and then finding where that is, and embracing it, and actually feeling a little bit of completeness that may have been eluding you for however long it has been chasing you. Because in some ways, I think I was running away from a purpose, so to speak, for a lot of my life. So, if you feel that it is a good thing that you are pursuing these things because you feel that desire and that want to help, be of service in those ways, that's amazing. It's beautiful. It's quite fantastic.
Longer. 15 years ago, that's how I used to feel about my clockwork.
Mm-hmm. I feel that there's a story there.
I just don't know if I've felt that way about anything in a while.
Well, if I may be so bold as to ask, what happened 15 years ago?
Uh, 15 years ago, I had started to feel routine. I only really get excited now with clockwork when I'm learning something new.
Do you feel like you're just trying to pursue that feeling again? Or or is there trepidation in finding something like that again? Of the new, I want to know more.
Shit, me too. Maybe I should look at more sheep.
Look at more sheep. Oh. Oh. Man, what is purpose? Do you know why I don't carry guns?
No.
Because it's not because I don't think that I don't won't get robbed or anything like that. I used to carry. Um, it was a requirement of my position, and for 10 years I did work that I thought was what I was meant for. I was doing investigations. I was protecting people, so I thought most of the time. And I was, and when I did have to draw on someone, I thought I was doing it in the name of justice and doing what was right in the world. The reason why I went working for the Pinkertons and not law enforcement was because in my younger nature, I thought that there were some things that the law couldn't do that they empowered other groups to do for the betterment of society. And the Pinkertons, for a lesser word, you could replace Pinkerton with mercenaries for hire. And I was investigating a uh, crime ring, I guess you could say, in Boston. And what it was, a bunch of kids that I found, street kids, young, everywhere between the ages of 7 and 10, a couple of them in their early teens. And they had just been working together, breaking into stores, stealing things in the middle of the night. But it was very coordinated. And I could tell that they was being directed on what they were doing. Right. So I continued to follow these kids, determined that these children, they were up to that they were in on it, so to speak. So I pursued them as if they were criminals. And finally I found them, followed them, and I found that this small group of kids that I had been following weren't the only group of kids that were doing this kind of stuff across Boston. It was at least 20 to 30 of them. And they were all living in the same little warehouse, I guess you could say, near the water. And they were living in the most squalid of circumstances. It was obvious that even though they were doing all this damage and stealing all this property, they were not benefiting from it. So I just waited. Waited from my corner, just silently waiting and watching. Because there was something else going on here, and I didn't know what it was. And then I found these children coming out, opening up the doors to this carriage, coming in. And some of the finest looking gentlemen, finely dressed looking gentlemen you had ever seen getting out of this carriage. And they immediately, you could tell that they had no respect or love for these children. They hit one of them. Another one started yelling at them to bring them what they found. These kids pulling this wagon of the money they stole from these stores, what they thought would be valuable from these stores. And really, what these children were being used for, I discovered over the next couple of days, is that they were being used as part of a protection racket. Basically, building the supply for the demand of these professional criminals to come in and then demand protection money from these shops. So these shops were then, these citizens were then paying a good portion of what they were earning to try and stay alive to protect themselves from children that weren't even able to protect themselves. It's quite a vicious cycle. So I followed it. And I came back the next day around the same time, same carriage, same fancy dressed men. And then I followed that carriage to a particular individual's establishment, and I immediately knew who he was. A pretty much an underboss of Irish mob. And so I brought it to my boss. And I was like, this is what's happening. This is what I've uncovered. I think that this is something that we need to bring to the law. And this man, my mentor, this is the person who recruited me from school. He looked at me straight in the face and he said, Roberta, you are going to forget what you saw. You're going to forget what you've seen. And I looked at him, my eyes unbelieving of what I was being told, as the pillars of everything I believed in just started crumbling down around me. And he stood up and he walked around his desk to me. And he was like, do you understand what I'm telling you, Roberta? And I was like, no, I don't understand. And he said, Roberta, I need you right now to forget what you've seen. Can you do that? And I made a decision. I'm not sure if I was making a decision out of shock. I'm not sure if I made the decision out of outrage. But I looked him in the eye, looked up at him as I sat there, and he looked down at me. And I looked him in the eye and I said, no, sir. No, sir. And I remember him raising his hand. I remember a sharp pain in my head. And I was out cold. When I awoke, I was being held to a chair by two very large men. And in front of me, there was a barrel with fire lit. And on the other side of that barrel, there stood that particular gentleman. And my mentor and boss. And they told me that truth has consequences. And then the two gentlemen held me to the chair, then took my arms, they took my hands, and they placed them into the fire. And then I passed out from the pain, from the disbelief. And then I woke up in front of my apartment. My hands shoddily bandaged. and a note pinned to my chest. Just with one word: leave.
Jesus.
And I thought I had lost all purpose. I thought that there was nothing left for me. And I wandered. Took a train. I left Boston. My mother still lives in Boston. Didn't reach out to her. And I took it out. I just headed west. I don't know what happened to what was in my apartment. Didn't matter. My entire world had crumbled down in front of my eyes. My hands both hurt, and yet I could not feel them at the same time. I didn't get them properly looked at by a doctor until I had crossed Omaha. And then I just took time. Spent time in my own head. Spent time doing this and that, and a couple other things. What did it mean to live if I failed so miserably? And not having a dime to my name, I figured that I would apply what little bit of a trade that I figured I could have. So I came to New Austin to do that. And I started to put up that first poster saying I was going to do investigation work. And the guilt and the pain of that shook me so hard I broke down and cried in the St. Denis post office. So I spent the night wandering around St. Denis and woke up after sleeping on the street, and there was the St. Denis Tribune sign lit up as bright as day. And I was like, I failed in actually listening. Maybe I'll do investigation from a different angle and see if that helps. What if I listen instead of accuse? What if I share instead of running away? What if I, instead of carrying a weapon that is meant to intimidate and threaten, I carry around a pen and a piece of paper that's meant to record? So I said I'd give that a try. God damn, it's been hard. Some days it's harder than others. But at least with what I do now, I don't wake up in the morning thinking that I had been serving an evil that I didn't even know what I was serving. So it's all right to wander. It's all right to yearn for something different. And it's all right to take massive risks. And even though it could have cost me everything, sometimes it's all right to say no. Even if it rocks every little bit of foundation that you think your life has been built upon. You know, I think you do make some of the best pies in this state.
Sure. Old. Do people ever tell you that you're strong and you're brave?
I oftentimes have people tell me that I'm strong and foolhardy.
Mm.
Thank you, so I appreciate that. I've learned a new phrase for myself since doing the paper.
What's that?
Whenever someone tells me to be safe, I tell them I'll stay within my margins.
Mm.
And sure, it's a clever use of words, but I think it means a lot to for anybody to know or have an idea of who they are. And even though they don't know where the road is going, they they follow the path that they think that they need to follow. You stay within their margins. It's like saying, to thine own self be true. And in that regard, I do feel that those that are true to themselves, that they are strong, they are brave, they are foolhardy and reckless, and they are amazing. Because there is no harder task in this world, I've decided, than staying within one's own margins, despite the rest of the world looking at them and going, well, that's not my margins. And I know that we do not spend that much time with each other, but I do see you striving and thriving in your own ways. And you're asking yourself hard questions. And from what I can see, you're not really hiding away from them that much. And that is you being true to that, to your own self. So to you, Miss Imogene, I would also say that you are pretty darn strong. And you are being pretty courageous. Because the questions we ask ourselves are the most scariest ones of all. If I might say so myself.
Fair enough. Thank you.
You are most welcome. You never know how much wildlife is along a river until you just sit and watch it.
Mm.
You want to hear a fun fact about me?
Yes.
I have not lived in an apartment or a home in 2 years.
Where do you live?
I live in hotel rooms.
Mm. Fair enough.
I've been invited to join in with people's camps. I've been invited to live with people in their homes. I've even been offered homes here in New Alexandria, but I don't know. None of them feel right. Even when I was working with the Pinkertons, I was traveling so much that when I was back home, my apartment always felt like a hotel room anyway. I do love room service though. Can't put a price on good room service. It's just that's the good stuff. Have you ever met Manuel Portugal, the
Poet.
poet?
Yes.
Do you ever take his tour of New Alexandria?
I have not.
He will regale you with the story of Lord Nut.
Who? Who?
Lord Nut. He is the and oh god, I can't do it as good as Manuel, but he is the most powerful, omnipotent, beneficence, a powerful being in all the universe and all the galaxies. And he lives in New Alexandria. It really is quite a fantastic tale, but Manuel tells it as he brings people around to a lot of hidden and interesting spots in New Alexandria. He has a very interesting story. His parents are very wealthy. Like he comes from a landed family back in Portugal.
Mm.
And when he told them that that he aspired to be a poet, they disowned him.
Jesus.
I know, right? Like that's an overreaction. Uh, and then he lived the majority of his life as a wandering poet before he ended up in New Alexandria.
A poet. That, hmm. So his parents weren't big fans of Byron or anything then?
Nope. As a matter of fact, Manuel's hero was a Portuguese poet, and that's who he idolized. And he told his parents this, and they were like, "No child of ours will be a poet. They will. You'll be a respectable member of society." I think like his brother is like a doctor, and his
Hmm.
sister's like a lawyer, and thing is that Manuel is a doctor. He's not good enough for his parents.
Some people, I swear.
Hmm. Sometimes you just gotta live and let be. Accept people for who they are. Celebrating their accomplishments. Cry with them whenever they fail. And then just be around when they just need someone to be around. And sometimes you just gotta poke a hornet's nest just to see what happens.
I don't. I don't know if that's in my margins.
Oh, the hornet's nests take all kinds of different shapes. Sometimes it's learning how to be a field medic and learning how to get blood all over yourself without getting sick. And I'll tell you the truth there, sometimes I still get sick afterwards. Uh, Doing medical is so hard. I had to come back over to mainland. Well, okay. Had to come over twice. Came back over one time. I went to sleep where I was sleeping in Guarma. And I woke up in the Heartlands.
Oh
And
my
I have no
goodness.
idea how I got there. So I made my way back to Blackwater, sold the lemons that I had on me along the way to a cook, and but every the 3 times during the month I was gone, or the 3 weeks I was gone, the 3 times I came back to the mainland, every time I did medical on a deputy.
Jesus.
I was, I was like, this is why I'm picking lemons. Things are crazy here. Oh, goodness. So let me ask you this, Miss Imogene.
Yes.
What kind of friendly neighborhood reporter do to help you out in your endeavors?
But you already have.
Perfect. Oh, I'm glad.
Do
And oh, go ahead.
field medics need to take the Hippocratic Oath?
No. Um, and also, um, how do I phrase this? I will say this about being a field medic in New Alexandria, at least in my own experience. There have been times where I have simply walked away from a situation because I was not suited for that environment or the patients therein. And also, in America, in our day and age, I don't think that a lot of doctors necessarily take the Hippocratic Oath.
That's fair. When is the
Do you
Hippocratic
have
Oath?
concerns about being obligated to provide medical care to all kinds?
A little. I I know they're only human, and they could be me, or I could be them.
I was in Kansas City one time, and there was a bank robbery in town, and one of the robbers was shot in the chest, closer to the shoulder. And the doctor who they had called asked how the man gets shot. And the lawman said, well, he was robbing the bank and I shot him. And the doctor said, oh, well, I'll go get the mortician for you. And he just walked away. The next day, I saw that doctor in the tavern, in the saloon. And I asked him about it. And he said that he never slept better in his entire life. Because there's no law that says that a doctor has to treat somebody. New Alexandria has well, um, I would say that there are a lot of doctors in this state that have figurative bleeding hearts, and they will treat anybody at any time. But I've also seen some doctors here in this state that are more likely to push a bullet further into a wound than they are to take it out. You be the doctor that you want to be, or you be the field medic that you want to be. I personally would never try to be a doctor in this state due to, I think, the way that they are utilized. Being a field medic feels just right. I know how to save a life if I need to save a life. I know how to keep a person alive long enough for a doctor to show up.
That's all I really want.
Then I think that you'd be fine doing it. And I'm not sure. I know that Miss Kitty, I know that some people have different feelings about her depending on who they are. Uh, but I will say this, the way that she trains people to be field medics is very holistic, and and is not closely associated with a lot of the doctor associations in state. So it allows a little bit more freedom.
It definitely never hurts to have more than one opinion.
Hmm. And she also focuses. She also focuses on a lot of more holistic treatments too, treatments that come from the land, which is always I have found her care to be very, if not always, good for the body, but sometimes just really good for the soul. And Draven gives really good hugs. That man is massive.
Don't do that.
So, what do you have on your docket for the rest of this glorious day?
uh, Probably more looking at sheep and goats.
Mm. Do you have a good dog to keep you company?
I do.
Well, then really you got everything that you need. Maybe a good book.
I'm still not done with Wuthering Heights.
I tell you what, I finished that while I was in Guarma. And then I left it there on the cot that I had been sleeping on. I saw Bean yesterday and I told him he needs to do one last session, one last group to wrap up that conversation. Oh, Bean.
I'm only on, what is it, 21? I don't know how far in that is. I think it's more than half, but maybe only just.
Uh, yeah, you're about 2/3 of the way through.
Oh, that's a little more encouraging than I thought.
I will say the second half is, and the last third of it is definitely better than the first two.
Thank God. It's so dense.
It was the third time I've read that book in my life, and I will never read it again. I just don't care. Oh, oh. Emily Bronte is, I think, the weaker of the Bronte sisters where it comes to writing.
Mm.
I mean, she wrote what she knew. I'll give her that. I think that I was needing to hire some security, but I'm thinking I might pass on it. Someone tried to kidnap me inside my post office the other week. And, oh, it was so irritating. I, okay. So, I was, I was speaking loudly, having a conversation with this man that was had his shotgun ready to point at me, and two deputies just ran by on their horses at full gallop through Blackwater. Right? I know they had to have heard me. Do you know who came to my rescue?
Oh, jeez.
The remnants. State Capitol, right there. People getting kidnapped out of the telegram office. Makes no sense. Ugh.
What are the remnants doing?
These days? Um. Uh. That's a very complicated question. Um. So when uh, do you know the history of the remnants?
No.
Because they're a very interesting family. Um, and I say family, they are not all related by blood, but they are family. Like, so when before the hurricane, there were a lot of very large gangs. You know about the hurricane, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. There were a lot of very large, very coordinated gangs. And then after the hurricane, um, a lot of gangs lost a lot of members. Just like, a lot of people lost a lot of people, but the gangs in particular were scattered. And the the remnants, so to speak, of a lot of those originating gangs came together to provide each other company and to do crime. Hence the name, the remnants. So over time, uh, they became a place for um, people that outlaws, even civilians sometimes that had lost, the groups of people that they had came to New Alexandria with, or found themselves to be the only ones left alive. The remnants would welcome them in without much question and allow them to do whatever it is that they was doing. Uh, so after Iris's brother was killed, his name was Jimmy. He had he had gone more or less on the straight and narrow. Um, was a DOP god, and then was killed um, by an outlaw. Uh, After that, a lot of remnants decided that they was gonna try and go legit, but due to the nature of their group, they didn't require everybody to go legit. Well, I'm sure who could wax poetic on this, but if you consult with outlaws and you yourself are not trying to stop them from being outlaws, you will be brought closer and closer towards that way of life. Um, and as such, even though some of them would go legit and they would turn themselves into the law so they could start running businesses and whatnot, um, others of them were not ready to do that, and then they would get in trouble with other gangs or whatnot, and then because they view themselves as a family structure, the ones that had gone legit would then get pulled back into that life. It is a vicious cycle. Well, um, when Iris died a couple months back, Iris was trying her damnedest to get out of crime and was trying her damnedest to get everyone in the remnants out of crime. And she went to go someone that was supposed to be helping another remnant, they slept in, and the person who was supposed to be getting help, um, Iris went to go help him out of a situation, and that got her into a tussle with the law, and she got blasted away with a sawed-off shotgun. Once that happened, they, well, you could say like, like, who's the hot of Dead Crow, right? And like, let's say that Hoof just one day was murdered and dead. That would that would impact everyone at Dead Crow something fierce. Who knows what would happen, right? Well, with the remnants, it, I think for the first time in their existence, even though they'd lost many other people, I think for the first time they realized that they were mortal. And so they're going through these days. Um, well, just I think it was a week and a half ago. Um, all of them that had outstanding warrants and bounties, they all in mass went and turned themselves into the sheriff's department. So they're repeating the cycle. Whether they will keep to that or not, who knows? But right now they're trying to do it for Iris, so we'll see if that holds.
I hope it does.
Yeah, that's what they're about these days. Which is far better than what, like, holy crap. If I'm okay, I'm going to complain about the law for just a half a second and about outlaws for a half a second, all in one breath. Jethro Verne has a public bounty on him, and he had his gun shop open in Strawberry today for 5 hours.
Honestly, I don't even understand why they let known criminals keep businesses.
I mean, yeah, I mean, like, I mean, it is frustrating. It is frustrating on both sides. Like, ugh, I just don't get it. Like, you had literally, he was sending out several telegrams throughout the day today saying exactly where he was at, exactly what he was doing. And and here's the other thing too. I think that allowing I think especially if you reach a public bounty, I think not only should any business license that you are part of to be revoked, but I think like if you're part of the gunsmithing guild, I think that your guild membership should be revoked too.
Then they'd only have one person in the guild.
It definitely make people double think their way of like doing crime.
Honestly.
I mean, shit. Oh, okay. This is very pleasant, but I do think I need to get back to Blackwater sooner than later.
Oh, yes, you're right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I can blab and gossip all night long. Uh, Thank you for this time, Miss Imogene.
Of course.
Thank you for these delicious apple pies.
If you ever need more, you know who to call.
I sure do. Oof. I love sitting on the ground, but my body don't always like it. Oh, stretch.
The old,
Oh.
the old lady knees. I understand.
Oh. Hurts more than my butt after riding cunning on a long paper route.
Oh,
Oh yeah, don't forget your supplies. Oh, actually, I'm gonna. All right. Always nice to leave a thank you note. Woo! Cunning, don't you dare. Dumbass horse. Did you see that?
I did. I. Oof.
That was like, I was like, felt like the world was going in slow motion for a moment. Woo, right across my face. Goddamn dumbass Andalusian. Ooh, dear me. This is because I didn't give you some hay before I got on you, isn't it? There you go. There, have your treat. Have a nice little brush. There you go. All right. So what do you do just for you time?
For me time.
Yeah. You bake for you. I know you bake for yourself and you bake for others. What do you do for you?
Mostly just read, or I spend a lot of time with the dog and the pig. Uh, Usually I tinker, but I can't right now and it's killing me. Honestly, the clockwork is more me time, even though it's also work.
Oh, I understand that. It's like me and that damnable typewriter. I both love and hate it. But I more love it, so it works out. But I also like going hunting. Hunting is a good me time thing whenever I just need to get out of the offices and do something with my hands that is just a little bit more manual. And if I really want to be self-indulgent, I find a poker table and 5 willing victims.
Me time. Oh, I wanna find those hot springs Jen is talking about.
The what?
There's hot springs
Hot springs?
somewhere?
Oh, there sure are. They're up there near the laboratory where Raven's Rest used to operate out of. One of my paper routes brings people right by there. They are absolutely gorgeous. One day, if you ever want to, I'll bring you over there. Some beautiful views over there, up in Amberino.
I wouldn't mind. I haven't been very north very often, unless the horse rotation is changed and boss needs to mark down where all the Mustangs and Hungarians are.
Yeah, well, once your arm heals up, because I really wouldn't recommend riding
No.
up in the mountains without both arms. You let me know, and we could take a ride up there. Because it's actually quite stunning. Because from the hot springs, you can actually get a nice view down on the hotlands.
Deal. 2 to 3 weeks then.
Along the way, I can show you the gorilla.
The gorilla.
Yep.
Here?
Yep.
Is it like the snake or...
Well, the snake is... Well, I guess they're both technically dead. We'll cross over here. But no, there's a... it's actually quite close to Strawberry. There is a taxidermied gorilla that is in the middle of a ravine for some reason.
Was it on the way to the taxidermy house or...
No, it's fully taxidermied and everything. It's all crated up, and it looks like it fell off of some type of wagon. But first time I came across it, it was in the middle of the night. I thought I was gonna... I was terrified. Oh, pleasant rain. What was it getting at that time? Sure is. I agree.
Son of a biscuit.
No coat?
No coat.
I have an extra one on me if you would like it.
I wouldn't mind. Oh.
And I think that we may be in one of those situations where we may need to get to cover.
What?
I think that we may need to get to cover. Let's head
Oh, that's why there's no
here.
coat with this.
Let's make way for Riggs. goodness. Well, what a perfect time for the storm. I think I'm gonna check my letters here real quick, and I'll probably just bed down upstairs. And Miss Imogene, thank you so much for a wonderful evening.
Of course. Thank you for everything.
And same to you. All right. Have a wonderful evening. Get back to Armadillo safe
I shall.
after the thunderstorm.
Yeah.